Hello crocheters! Today I will finally be giving you a tutorial on how to crochet these mini dragons. Let's get started. First, we are going to need to gather our materials. The main body color will be white Bernat blanket yarn, and the color for the wings and horns will be teal Bernat blanket yarn. Besides yarn, you will need 8mm safety eyes with their backings, a stitch marker, and a 7mm hook. Of course, you'll need a little bit of stuffing as well. For this project, you will need to know how to do a magic circle and a single crochet. We are going to begin by making a magic circle. So wrap your yarn around your fingers, go under and over, pull your yarn through, and then pull your yarn through again, like so. Then we can tighten it by pulling on this tail here, and we are going to put 6 in the magic circle. 1, 2, 3. You can see the stitches here. We have 3 stitches right now. 4, 5, and 6 in the magic circle. And when we pull on this string again, that will close up our circle. To keep track of my rows, I'm going to put a stitch marker in the loop that is on my hook. Our next row is going to be single crochet, increase. So single crochet in the first stitch, pull your yarn through, and then pull it through again. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. So 1 single crochet in the stitch, and then another single crochet in the same stitch. Oops. Pull it through and pull it through again. So then we're going to do that 2 more times. Single crochet, increase, and then 1 more time. After that row is complete, we can move our stitch marker. At this point, we can kind of see how the tip of the head is forming. And now we are going to start decreasing. So this row is going to be a single crochet and a decrease repeated 3 times. So single crochet and then a decrease. I'll show you how to do that real quick. So you'll take the first loop of the first stitch, as you can see here, just the first loop, and the first loop of the second stitch, like so, and then pull your yarn through those 2 stitches, and then pull your working yarn through both of the loops on your hook. And we are going to repeat that 2 more times. So single crochet, and then decrease, first loop, pull it through, and then pull it through again, and then 1 more time. That is all of the head, so now we're going to move on to forming the body. So we will start with a row of single crochet and increase again. So single crochet and increase 3 times around. This next row will include the legs, so we will start with 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and then we are going to do a puff stitch. So I will show you how to do a puff stitch. Wrap your yarn around your hook, go into the next stitch, pull yarn through, and keep it on your hook. So you should have 3 loops on your hook right now, as you can see. Then take your working yarn and pull it through 2 of them. Then we are going to repeat that into the same stitch. So wrap it around your hook, go into the same stitch, pull your yarn through once. So you'll now have 4 loops on your hook. Pull it through 2 of them, and then do that again. wrap around, put it through the stitch, pull a loop through, pull your working yarn through 2. Right now, we've done that 3 times, so we have 4 loops on our hook, counting the original one, as you can see here, and we are going to do it 2 more times for a total of 5 times. So this is our 4th time, 4, and then 5. Now you will have 6 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The next thing we are going to do is take our working yarn and pull it through all of the loops on your hook, all 6 of them. So that will make the stitch puff out, like that. So then we are going to do a single crochet into the next stitch, and then another puff stitch, just like the one we just did. If you're unsure how to do that, you can rewind and watch how I showed you to do that again. As you can see on this dragon over here, there will be a total of 4 puff stitches, evenly spaced. So pause the video and come back after you've done another puff stitch in the next stitch. We've finished the front 2 legs now, and for the rest of the row we are going to single crochet, which will be 4 single crochet. We finished that row, and before we do anything else, we need to get our safety eyes. Personally, I prefer the ones that come with the sparkly colors. For the placement, we are going to take the first eye and put it on one side of the magic circle. You can see the magic circle is the very first row, and we'll put the eye in the side of the head. Then we'll put the other eye on the exact other side of the magic circle, like so. And on your dragon, make sure you're happy with the eye placement before you put on the backings, because they are impossible to remove. I'm going to put on my own backings now, take one, and I'm going to try to kind of push the dragon inside out, like this, so the back of the eye can be easily accessed. Now we can clip on our backings. With the eyes on, we can really see our dragon starting to form. Our next row is going to be only single crochet, so that will be a total of 9 single crochet around. This next row will have the back 2 legs, but we are going to start with 3 single crochet. After the 3 single crochet, we will do another puff stitch. Then do a single crochet in the next stitch. And then another puff stitch in the next stitch. We've done all our legs now, and we will do single crochets until the end of the row, which will be 3 single crochet. For the next row, we are going to start forming the tail, so it will be single crochet decrease 3 times around. After that row, we are going to start stuffing our dragon. So grab your stuffing and make sure to use small amounts of it at a time to stuff the dragon and make sure it's even. Make sure to get it in the head first and then stuff the body particularly firmly. Once you're satisfied with how much you've stuffed it, we can move on to the next row, which will be 6 single crochet all the way around. Then another row of 6 single crochet around. We're going to start decreasing the tail in this row, so the row will be single crochet and decrease, repeated twice. Before we move on to the next row, we are going to need to stuff the tail. It's typically better to use smaller pieces of stuffing, especially for small pieces like this. The next and final row will just be 2 decreases. So decrease once, and then the next decrease isn't going to be so easy though. It's going to be kind of hard to squeeze in there, but I believe in you. That's 1 decrease, and then the next one. Take the front loop and the front loop again, and this is your final stitch of the body. Lastly, we're going to fasten off our piece, which just means pulling our working yarn through the loop on our hook. Then we can cut or tear our yarn, because we are finished with the body. Now we should have something that looks about like a dragon, but without wings or horns. So let's fix that. We are going to take our secondary color now, which will be teal for me, and we are going to reattach to this dragon just above the leg, about right here. So take your hook and put it behind a stitch and about that spot, and then take your yarn, wrap it around your hook, and pull it through the stitch on the dragon. Now take your working yarn and that tail sticking out there, and take them both through the loop on your hook. Make sure to tighten that very well. And that is how you reattach to a piece. Next, we are going to chain 5. So wrap your yarn around your hook and pull it through. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that is the first part of the wing. For our next row, we are going to turn our hook and go into this stitch right here. And then we are going to do 4 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. To secure our wing better, we are going to go into the body again and do a slip stitch right about next to where you originally reattached to the body. So right here, go behind the stitch, pull your working yarn through, and then pull it through the loop on your hook. Then we are going to turn our hook again, do a slip stitch in the first stitch by going into the stitch, pulling our yarn through it and the loop on our hook. Then we are going to do 3 single crochet to the end. 1, 2, and 3. We'll turn our hook again, then do 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. Then turn your hook, and the last row of the wing will be a decrease, but it's going to be a bit different than normal. Instead of taking only the front loop, we're going to insert our hook into the whole stitch and bring our working yarn through it, and then go into the next stitch and do the same thing. Then we'll have 3 loops on our hook, and we'll bring our working yarn through all of them, just like that. Then we're going to slip stitch all the way back to the body. So find somewhere to insert your hook, like about here, then put it through the wing, and take your working yarn through the wing and the loop on your hook. Then we'll slip stitch a few more times until we get to the base of the wing. I did 5 slip stitches, that may be different for you. And lastly, we are going to stick our hook into the body of the dragon, and fasten off by taking our working yarn through the dragon and the loop on our hook. And then we'll take the yarn through the loop on our hook again to fasten off. Cut your yarn and pull it through, then we are done with this wing. But we're actually only halfway done, because we have to make a whole other wing on the other side. So you can rewind the video and follow the instructions to make another wing. I'll see you when you're done. We have 2 wings now, and we're going to move on to the final piece, the horns. Since this is a little dragon, they're just going to be little nubs like this. They're going to be made of half double crochets. We'll take the same color we used for the wings, or our secondary color, and we're going to insert our hook about right behind the eye. Then we'll take our working yarn and bring it through with our hook, just like we did with the wings. Then we'll bring our working yarn and that tail there through the loop on our hook, completely through, like that. Make sure to tighten it. Then we're going to do a half double crochet in this same stitch. To do a half double crochet, we'll wrap our yarn around our hook, go into the stitch, bring our working yarn through, and then we should have 3 loops on our hook, as you can see. Then we'll bring our working yarn through all of those. Then we'll go ahead and fasten off by going to the same stitch again, bringing our working yarn through that and through the loop on our hook, and then bring our working yarn through the loop on our hook again. But instead of just cutting our yarn, we're going to leave a very long tail so that we can do the other horn with it. It's a real hassle if you run out of yarn, so I'm going to make mine superfluously long. Then we can cut that. Then we are going to place our hook about where we want the other horn to be, stick it in that stitch, then stick it out through the other side about where the tail is. Then we're going to take our extra long tail and pull it through to the other side where the other horn will be, trying not to pull the stuffing out of the head. Then to make the other horn, we're pretty much just going to do the same thing. We're going to put our hook in the stitch on the other side as our yarn tail now sticking out, pull our yarn through, then we're going to do a half double crochet once more, just like we did on the other horn here. So wrap your yarn around your hook, go into the stitch, pull your working yarn through, you'll have 3 loops on your hook again, then pull your working yarn through all 3 of those, just like that. Then we'll fasten off by putting our hook through the same stitch, bringing our working yarn through the stitch and the loop on our hook. Then bring the working yarn just through the loop on our hook once more, and we'll tighten it. And that's how you make the horns. Now all we have left to do is hide these yarn ends. To do that, I'm going to use a yarn needle, but you could also use a hook if you so choose. Once we have our yarn needle, we'll thread our yarn through it, then find a spot to put it in the body. This spot needs to be very close to where the yarn is coming out of, so that it can't be pulled out easily. So we'll insert our hook and pull it all the way through the body. Again, trying not to pull the stuffing out with it. To finish hiding our end, we're going to just cut it off. If yours is still sticking out like mine is, what I do is I use my yarn needle here to push it in just a little bit to make sure the blue doesn't show through the white or whatever colors you're using. Then you're just going to need to do the same thing with all the ends sticking out here, and I'll come back once I'm done. Now that we've hit our ends, that's it guys. We have finished our little dragon. Thank you for watching, and remember, we create because God created first.